Okay, working on my dad's XJ. So this thing, it runs a little warm. It kind of always has. For everybody who knows XJs, it's going to say, oh, make sure you have a shroud. We have a shroud. I'm also running the V8 ZJ clutch, fan clutch, or I guess the fan clutch, and the factory fan clutch itself, plus the factory E fan, plus a thermostatic controller. So that thing comes on at a pretty low temp. Also, we have, I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah. A huge tranny cooler in there, and the trans fluid does not run through the radiator anymore. So we've done just about everything you could do. And it's a good new, I think, 3-core radiator. And it doesn't always run hot. It's just long grades, like pulling hills. And it's, what are they, 586 gears in this thing? So it's geared low enough, and so it's spinning decent RPM, so it's spinning the clutch fan fast enough, but it's just, I think it's just a lot of work for the thing. So we're going to do hood vents and see if that helps. I'm not looking for a miracle cure here. I'm just looking for if we can get, a couple percent better cooling, then that would help a lot, because it's very rare that it does overheat, but sometimes the temp gauge climbs up a little. So we got these hood vents from, I think it's Hyline Off-Road. They're pretty nice. They're probably the most expensive ones, but they have a lot of vents. They have welded on studs that come through, and they come with these templates that you tape down, drill all the holes, and slap that baby on there. So it should help a little, at least with, if nothing else, it should be colder air coming into the intake. So if nothing else, we got that going for us. But we'll start drilling and start doing some cutting. So I'm trying to follow the instructions here. And they want you to drill a 1/16 inch hole. I'll try, but
let's give it a shot.
I don't know how that drill bit's not going to break. That thing is so teeny tiny. But I guess we'll see how it goes. This thing's like a wiggly little noodle on there. There's our 16th inch hole. Now we're going for 13/64, which this bit is pretty dull. Okay, so you drill it out, you put these 2 screws in it, and then you drill all the rest of your holes. I assume, I haven't read the rest of the instructions, but they should have given you 4 so you could do both at the same time, but they didn't. So I found some other hardware, and I got both templates kind of temporarily screwed on so I can drill all the holes. Unfortunately, my 1/16 inch drill bit did not last. It broke into 3 pieces, like I kind of thought it was gonna. So I'm gonna use something a little bigger and just deal with it, I guess. All right, 7/32 is what I'm gonna try to use. Wish me luck. If you are starting this project and you have the same clapped out, worn out drill bit set that I have, that's been sitting around your shop forever, go buy some nice drill bits, or at least a few of the ones in the sizes that you need, because this is ridiculous. It's taking a very long time, and I've only got half of the hood done, and all I've got is the pilot holes in that half. Okay, so I found another 16th inch bit is actually a fresh one that had never been used. And then I traced out each one of these cutouts. Now it says to remove the templates and drill each one of these holes to 1/4 inch. So that's what I'm gonna do now. It says be very careful when you drill them. I hate drilling holes in metal because it always grabs. And I'm sure it won't be great, but it's gonna work out. Okay, so you can see all our cutout marks. You can kind of see all our holes. I'm gonna start drilling those out, I guess. Okay, all holes drilled. One thing I learned, well, a couple things, but first of all, a nice new bit for both sizes, the 16th and the 1/4, is well worth having. So go get it before you start. Don't be like me and just power through.
You'll do as I say, not as I do.
Towards the end, I did find a new set of drill bits, and I found a good 16th and a good 1/4, and that made it way easier. There are a few of these holes kind of in this mid-range here that have the hood support underneath them. So you got to drill through 2 layers. And then there's this hole, happens to be, okay, so it would be a driver's side of the hood, about the middle, that it feels like there's a second layer. Do not just push on through it. I started to, and then I realized what was underneath there. It is your latch assembly. So don't just push right through that like I almost did. So, okay, now it's time to run a 1-inch hole saw on all these corners and underneath where the hood supports are, so you can get a nut flush with the backside and cut it out. Okay, so now it's time to drill out all these holes for the actual cutouts. So you drill out all the corners. They say use a 1-inch hole saw, but I know how hole saws work, and every time you go for a certain size, the hole ends up a little bigger. So they said 1 inch. I'm using a 7/8, and it seems to be turning out about perfect. So I'm gonna keep going with that, get those done, then cut out my holes, deburr all the 1/4 inch holes for the studs to go through, and then, I don't know, they say spray some clear on it. I don't know how that's gonna look with half the clear gone on this hood. It might turn out weird, but I guess maybe it doesn't matter. Who knows? So. Okay, now I got to drill a couple holes on the underside. So right here, if you can see it, and here, and then here, and there. I got to drill them out with the 1-inch hole saw. That way I can get the nut flat against the actual hood skin. So I'm gonna do that. I think there might be one up here too. Maybe. Yeah, it's like up here. So I gotta drill down from the top a little further. I've got a very small disc on there for now till it wears out, but it's easier to get started because you can kind of rest the tool on the edge and then dig in. But after this wears out, then I gotta get a bigger one. Well, it didn't go perfect, but it did go pretty good, I would say. My only screw up is when the grinder jumped out and got right there, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm not too worried about it. It went pretty good. So, yeah, now it's time to clean everything up and put the louvers on. Okay, got it all done. The one thing that the instructions didn't say anything about, so remember these ones that I had to do the 1-inch hole saw, well, that one there and that one there land on just the edge of this inner skin, and that one there. That one there did, but I was able to get a nut on it. So those ones, I'm gonna have to be real careful and cut with a die grinder, cut off wheel, something to get that out of there. And that's gonna be a little bit tricky, but I think I can do it and it shouldn't be an issue. Okay. Got them all. That one's still hanging on there. There we go. Okay, so I have the ratchet on super low. I'm going around, tighten all these babies up. I gotta get that one with a wrench, but we're pretty much done, at least on the home stretch. I'll let you guys see it here in just a minute. Okay, you guys don't get to see it on the Jeep yet because I'm only one person and I can't lift it on there by myself. But it turned out pretty good. They sit very well on there. There's no high spots or anything. And I really like the way it looks. And I think my dad will too.